Hi guys, Joel from Jonesys, and things are getting exciting on the Bring a Trailer listing, and we've had some wonderful questions, and I wanted to address those questions directly in a video update. So first and foremost, the first question we got was about the transmission cooler as well as the radiator temperature. So I'll pop the hood and we will kind of explain what is going on with the transmission cooler. So this radiator is the stock 1965 GMC V6 radiator. It's a copper brass radiator that we had recored with as big a core as we could put in it to help keep the V8 as cool as possible. When we had that rebuilt, we added a transmission cooler in the bottom of the radiator. So the 4L60 transmission cooler lines come into the radiator and they cool just like a factory transmission cooler inside. There is not an additional auxiliary transmission cooler mounted in front. Some of you noticed this unit right in here, these two lines coming down, thinking that this was the transmission cooler. This is actually a small vertical cooler that is used for power steering. So this unit has a power steering cooler, and then the transmission cooler is in the radiator. Now, next question was about whether or not this unit stays cool, and the answer is yes, with a caveat. The caveat is we're in the Pacific Northwest. We don't get crazy hot temperatures out here, and frankly, when it is 95 degrees out here, this is probably not the rig that I'm going to go choose to use. With that said, we have used it in 85 or 90 degree temperatures and had zero engine cooling issues, and the AC blew cold the whole time. So I would say if you are in the South where it's 95, 100 degrees, or Texas, it's a question mark. I don't know. I haven't been able to actually test it in those type of conditions. Now, to elaborate a little bit more on that, there are some other aftermarket upgrades. If that were to be an issue, you could upsize this radiator, something bigger. You could potentially go with a mechanical fan instead of the dual electric fans. Those are kind of some things. But in my professional opinion, because this thing is totally stock, hasn't been cammed, and this is a good quality copper brass radiator, I don't see cooling being an issue for this unit. All right, the other question that we got was a very keen potential bidder, viewer, whatever you want to call them, noticed that in one of the photos there was a set of vice grips on this window crank. And the reason why there were vice grips on that window crank is because these splines are chewed up. That's the way that they were when we got the rig. And we didn't replace this regulator when we did the restoration because at the time, aftermarket parts were not the greatest. And we've ran into some troubles with some of the aftermarket handles that we've had. They're just very low quality. And this regulator actually works very well. Like, it functions great, but the splines were stripped out and it would not accept or hold a stock style window crank. So I opted to just get a OEM. I think this one is actually off of a Ford. Sorry, I am using some Ford parts here. I used a Ford window crank, and then if you come up here really close, you can see that we just drilled a small hole and put a cotter pin. I'll rotate it around so you can see. Put a cotter pin in there to make sure that the window crank is secure and won't fall off. So hopefully that explains the window crank and door handle stuff, what you guys saw. Good work for paying attention to those photos. Love the question. But again, this window, if you look, it functions perfect. Like, it's great. Our only issue was the splines were stripped out, and that's why you saw a pair of vice grips. Now, one other question that we got was, why did we spend the time to paint the door jambs, make those door jambs, and under the hood, under the hood in the engine compartment, why did we spend the time to make that nice, what would be body color? And the simple answer is that at the time, patina was kind of not a huge accepted method. It was coming about, if you know what I mean. And so the theory is that since we're going to be here, we're replacing the floor pans, we're replacing the rockers, we're going to do these jambs nice. We're going to do the engine compartment really nice with the correct color, so that if somebody didn't like the patina or that wasn't their thing, they could then not have to do a complete tear down paint job. You in theory could do an external paint job. So that's why we kept this stuff all nice and then kept the patina on the outside. So we tried to set ourselves up so that if the patina was not something that you wanted to deal with, wasn't your thing, that you would have a good foundation to start with, and you wouldn't have to go backwards, tearing apart the whole interior, taking the engine out to get the exterior to be nice, quality, shiny paint. All right, guys, the other thing that I wanted to address was the VIN number. As you can see up here on the B-pillar, we have the original riveted on 1965 GMC Suburban VIN tag, and that's what this vehicle is titled as. Okay, right over here, we made this VIN tag right here, which is there for identification purposes only. And the reason why I wanted to provide the actual Tahoe VIN number is so that anybody that is going to be scanning the ECM or needs to order parts or anything like that for the 2000 Tahoe specific components, meaning engine, transmission, chassis, suspension, they know exactly what year, what make, what model, how that thing was configured based off of the VIN number. In addition, if you are out and about and let's say your fuel pump goes bad, well, with this VIN number and knowing that it's a 2000 Tahoe, you can take it to any shop, and yes, they'll be like, oh, we don't work on those little cars, but then you can tell them, you know what, it's all completely stock 2000 model Tahoe, fuel pump, fuel tank, all of the mechanical systems are straight up modern-ish. I mean, boy, it's 2025. Wow, where does the time go? So anyway, I'm getting off track here. The point is, getting this thing serviced, let's say you're on a road trip, you can take it to somewhere and you can scan it as if it was a 2000 model Tahoe, and it's not nearly as intimidating as a classic that not very many people these days can work on. So anyway, hopefully that explains why we display this extra VIN number here. It has absolutely nothing to do with titling. You won't have any problems with any registration or anything like that, because this is a 1965 Suburban. And frankly, this sticker, if you wanted to take it off, you could just peel it off and nobody would ever know that it even exists. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap that up. Feel free to contact us through Bring a Trailer. If you have any other questions, we're gonna be on standby for the remainder of this auction time. And thanks for watching. Good luck on the auction, and we will see you in the next video.